Welcome back to the channel, and today is a new day. I'm going to be working on the Supra a little bit more. Yesterday I did the coils, the exhaust. Today I'm going to try to get the intercooler sorted, the valve covers and everything, the intake manifold back on after they're painted. Start working on the intake. Should have the parts to do that. Also, I need to throw the radiator back in it, hook the radiator up. I need to tap this fitting right here because how the intake is going to go. This is the coolant feed for the turbocharger, and I need to put the serpentine belt on. Just gonna, work my way around this thing, try to get as much done. Once I got the intake manifold on that side, I could throw all the wiring harness back on and connect the ECU, put the fuel rail and all this stuff back on. We are getting a radium fuel rail and an aftermarket ECU, but before we do that, we want to make sure everything is working correctly with the stock injectors, stock ECU, and we don't have any other issues to worry about. And if you haven't yet entered to win the Supra that we're building that is behind me, head over to MotionAutoTv.com. Every $5 spent enters you for a chance to win this Supra. So, it's getting closer and closer, and the time's running out. So head over there, enter to win this thing, and let's get to work. I'll throw the radiator in first. Finished pulling the compressor housing off the turbocharger. I decided to cut off the end of the turbo. I'm just going to run this 90-degree piece of pipe, weld it, and pretty much what that accomplishes is the intercooler pipe just runs right along here, and then it will just 90 down, and then I could splice into this piece of the intercooler piping that used to be on the car because it went up to the old twin turbo setup, so that wouldn't work. But if I cut it off right here, I could continue that and run a coupler off of this onto that and then to the intercooler. I cut one side of the angle, bent it up, measured, there's a bolt holding it in, and that's pretty much where the intercooler is going to sit right there. And I'll have to make brackets for the bottom, but it's centered in the bumper. I've always hated when intercoolers aren't centered. So over here at the air gas place, or general air, whatever they want to call it, I need some argon for the welder, so I'm going to go exchange my bottle. Just loaded up the new bottle. Should be able to weld all the rest of the exhaust and intercooler piping and all the random brackets that we needed to finish. Just finished lugging in the bottle of argon and hooked everything up, so it is ready to go. And it's always nice to have a full bottle. Just finished the mid pipe on the exhaust. I just ran a straight from this V-band, ran a 45, ran a little piece of pie into this other 45. So it's all nice and tucked up and should be good to go. So it needs to be, you know, the final weld's done on it. I'll have to pull everything down. Just finished welding the midsection all together, and it is very tucked up. And now I just need to finish welding the rest of the rear section of the exhaust. The exhaust is welded and on the car. Some people were mad that the exhaust exits out the side like that. Stock Toyota Supra exhausts exit that way. The tip is kind of angled exactly how that is. That's why the bumper's cut out like that. So some people were complaining about not having a flex pipe. Flex pipes are for front wheel drive or V engines. You don't need them on inline engines. The engine mounts and the exhaust hangers give the exhaust flex, so you don't need to have a flex pipe in an exhaust. Pretty sure I didn't put a flex pipe in the Supra 4-inch, and I don't think the S14 has a flex pipe. So, and those things both have gone through a bunch of stuff. Also, none of my cars have flex pipes, so this you know, came together really nice. I think this was probably my best weld right there. Just came over here to look at the stuff. Brandon painted all the intake manifold, valve covers, coil cover, and re-cleared the headlights for us. And it all looks really good. It's hard to tell through this window, but it's definitely gonna be shiny. Just grabbed all the painted stuff. It was able to dry overnight, so now I'm gonna throw the valve covers and the intake manifold and all this stuff back on. Probably not the upper intake manifold because the wiring harness has to go on before. Also, here is the headlights. They're all nice and re-cleared and nice and clear, and I don't know how, you know, new clear headlights are just so nice instead of when they get all oxidized and fogged up. And the coil cover, I was almost gonna have them paint this a different color. I found a color when I was over at the paint store, and you know, I just had them spray it the same color as everything else. It's a lot of black, but I'm sure it'll be all right. So that pretty much wraps up this episode of the Supra build. If you have not yet entered to win this thing, head over to MotionAutoTv.com. Every $5 spent enters you for a chance to win this thing. So I got, you know, the valve covers and everything on, the intake manifold, and mocking up some intercooler pipe. the next video, you guys should see this thing start and run and hear that exhaust I made, and you know, it should make some nice power. So we should get started in the next video, and see you guys in the next episode.